Hi guys, welcome back to Tom Wants Things. So today's episode, what we are getting on with is following on from the last episode where we started the door build or the door pod build for the Saxo, which is sitting behind me. We have been out and we've purchased some of the additional pieces that we need to make some progress. So what we'll do is we'll flip around and we'll talk through exactly what we're going to be up to today. Right, so just to catch up where we left off, these are the door cards that we did a load of work on. So we got our pods and everything all kind of placed in, sort of glued and screwed and everything, and built up and kind of exactly where we need them to be. Did both sides, so we got left and right hand side. But the next thing that we need to do with this is we need to kind of start to get a little bit of form in there so that we can start to smooth stuff off afterwards and just start to get a bit of shape, because as you can see, obviously we've just cut and sort of shut where the door sort of pocket and sleeve used to be, and just kind of cut it out to be able to attach these rings. Really we need these now to kind of form over the back and create like a nice solid structure for all of this to sit in. So we've been looking around at what to do, because obviously this is the first time that we've done anything like this, and it's been recommended to do it, I think it's a little bit like the old school way, but effectively using some thinner sort of felt sheets, and then we're effectively going to staple this to the door card and then start to shape it in the way that we want it to sit, and then afterwards we effectively then just start to apply our resin and stuff literally just straight over the top of it as if we were using it as like a fiberglass sheet. The resin effectively cures this to be absolutely solid, then we can build up fiberglass on top of that, and then we can smooth it off with filler, and then that effectively is an easy way to get sort of the right form that you'd want in your door pockets and stuff. So that's what we're going to crack on with. So I think first things first is we're going to get this up on the bench, and then we're going to start to look at what we need to do with this felt to be able to get it into the right position. Right guys, so now that we've got kind of our main sort of felt surface over the top, what we're going to do is just start to work around the edges and get it to kind of shape properly on here as kind of much as possible. Then we're going to start mixing up some resin and stuff, and then we are literally just going to start to brush that straight over the surface on top of here to kind of give it a nice sort of hard exterior, which we can then sort of rework and work with a little bit easier than what we've got at the moment. Right, so this has had the first coat put on, and as you can see it's starting to be a little bit more solid now. We are going to need to add another couple of layers of resin over the top of this just to get it completely sort of fixed in place, because currently it's not stiff enough really. And then as soon as we've done that, then we can start to apply some of the fibre fill, I think is what we'll probably use on this. So that's kind of the mixture of fiberglass and filler at the same time. So what we should be able to do with that is to create some sort of nice shape around here and smooth off over all the edges and get it kind of starting to blend itself back into the actual plastic piece itself. But yeah, really happy with how this is coming out at the moment. So yeah, just going to mix up another batch of resin, and we're just going to apply this over the top. Right, so here we go guys. So this is the second layer of resin that's going down. As you can see, it's still kind of curing at the moment, but definitely starting to come together. As you saw just then, the first layer had gone down and had started to harden up properly. So sort of pressing in on the outside, you can see that it was starting to get some structural rigidity. We've now just applied this second layer of resin, so as soon as this starts to dry off, we'll take another look and see whether we think it's going to be strong enough with just 2 layers. I think what we'll probably end up doing is putting a third one on, just from seeing kind of what the first layer did, but we'll evaluate that as soon as the second layer dries. Then as soon as that's finished, then we'll use the fiberglass filler, which is that one over there. So we'll use that one, I think, just to start to smooth in all the edges and start to blend everything into one another. But yeah, really happy with how this is coming out. I think these are going to look pretty sick, to be fair, once they're finished up and inside the Saxo. Updates on the Saxo: the whole interior is, as you can see, now stripped. So we have big plans really for this car with the sort of audio side of things. Part of that meant that we didn't actually need the interior anymore, because we were going to be swapping the front seats either to the Subaru ones that we've got, or we were going to pick up some different ones, and then the whole back of the car was going to get stripped out, ready for a full sort of subwoofer audio install as well. So we didn't need those rear benches as well, so that was good. So we sold those today, so a little bit of money back in the project pot, so we can use that to pick up the next couple of bits that we need. Right, so making some progress. Second layer is nice and dry now, so as you can sort of hear with this, we're sort of getting quite a nice sort of solid feel to all of this, which I think is a good thing. As I say, this is the first time I'm doing this, so we will be learning as we go. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to start to mix up some of this fiberglass filler, and then we're going to start to smooth over the top, because at the moment this is obviously really rough because it's felt, and the resin's just kind of made it solid. So what we need to do is kind of fiber fill and stuff over the top of it, and then we can start to get the sandpaper and stuff out, and then we can start to smooth it and kind of shape it into the sort of the overall shape and stuff that we want it to be. So I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll catch you guys in a sec. Right, so that's us down to this point. It's the first sort of layer of this sort of fiberglass filler, which I've then started to use to kind of create some of the shapes around the outside, and as well as also sort of blending in between some of the transitions that we had from the foam section. So I've kind of done that on both sides at the moment, just waiting for the filler, fiberglass, whatever, to go off, and then after that we can start applying a little bit more and just get some real shape into these two parts. Right guys, making some progress. So if we flip this around here, I'll be able to show you what we've been up to. So as you saw, we'd just sort of started to lay down our first layer of the sort of glass fibre and stuff over the top of this. Now we have been sanding a little bit of it back, just to kind of start to create this sort of shape as we've got kind of coming across here. And I think, as you can agree, it's kind of starting to sort of resemble sort of the pods that we were kind of looking to do with them. And then we've got this one over here as well, with these ones. So yeah, not looking too bad. And then you'll notice we had a delivery. So we have decided on these speakers for the door cards. Got recommended by quite a few people that use these on various builds. They're cheap, decent quality, so perfect for this kind of thing. So I think what we're going to look to do is we're going to take one out now. We're just going to position it in the holes. I think these holes I've done slightly too small, so that we could basically open them up to the size that we need to for the speakers. But what I have realised is I haven't actually been checking the depths of the speakers to what we kind of need in here, so I'm thinking we may end up needing to cut out some more of this rear section, but we're going to crack on and get onto that should we require it. And then we are also going to chuck them in the car and just check kind of clearances and stuff with the seats, because again, we chucked these in the 106, but the 106 is a very different car to this one in the kind of potential seat choices that we were looking at. So we'll chuck them in and we will check that now. Right, so this is that speaker. You get absolutely zero frills in the packaging for this. It is literally just a cardboard sleeve, bit of sort of plastic film around the outside of it, and then the speakers themselves. You don't get tweeters with these ones, but they do sets where you get 2 speakers and the 2 tweeters as well, which is what we will do, because we've only bought 1 pack for the moment just to get size and dimensions and stuff, and so we can start to test fit. So these are going to be kind of fitting in and around these sort of locations, and yeah, okay, we're a little bit tight on this. I think it's probably because of the the felt and stuff that we've lined in, because it's really close to going in there, but it's just going to require a little bit of work to get that in. But what this will do is give you kind of the idea of what we're aiming to achieve with this, and they look absolutely massive when they actually go on the door card. So these are 6.5 inch, so 165mm speakers, and yeah, we're gonna have 3 of them all across this bottom thing. So I don't believe we've kind of hit the back at all. I think we are literally just not quite big enough on the aperture to get it in, so we just need to open it up a little bit, and then that'll slot right in, which is cool. This one I believe is going to be the same. Yeah, feels like the same. And then we know that this one on the left is definitely because this one was a smaller aperture than the other two as well. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing with these. Pretty happy with these, to be honest. I think they'll do really well. So what we're going to do now is we are going to get the door cut up, and we're going to chuck it in here, and we're just going to see what our clearances look like relative to the seats. Right, and just to give some context, these were what were on the car originally when we picked it up, these little ones that were just in the door card singles, and then this is the size of the speaker that we are upgrading to, and then 3 of these as well. So yeah, big difference between the 2 of them, should be getting us a much louder, crisper sound out of those. Right, may have made a little bit of a mistake on these. Hopefully I'm thinking we can rectify it, but let me show you what we're dealing with. Right, so door cards are kind of loosely placed in. Seats currently aren't on mounts, but I've kind of just propped them up to where I think they're probably going to sit. And this is kind of the space that we are playing with at the moment. Now bear in mind that the speakers aren't on there, and obviously we have a thickness to this, which is kind of, as you can see there, this bevel that I'm holding at the moment going around the top. That's going to be sitting proud. So yeah, this rear one in particular I think is going to cause us a problem. The middle 2 and front, that's going to be absolutely fine, but this rear one is going to, I think, cause us some issues. So potentially going to have to rethink what we do with this. I kind of wanted it to be this sort of nice swooping shape, but I'm thinking what we're maybe going to have to do is cut this, kind of try and flex this back slightly and make it more of a straight shot, which is really annoying because I was hoping to yeah, just be able to get these in, but I think this is pretty much kind of where it's going to be set, sort of sitting on this door. But yeah, you can kind of get a hand in there, but I mean, if this is going to be touching the seat, then it's just going to be creating rubbish sound because it'll end up just sort of muffling itself when it's hitting the seat. And I don't think we can kind of mount these any higher, really. I think that's kind of the height that they are going to need to be. So yeah, a little bit annoying, but something that we're going to have to overcome. Yeah, just one of those things, really. Before you kind of get certain things kind of all mounted and buttoned up, you've got to be yeah, basically appreciate that you make decisions, and you may have to change it at a later date if you haven't managed to get absolutely everything on point. So yeah, not the end of the world, but something we're going to have to overcome. Right, so then moving on to something else that we've been working on as well. We have been having some issues with the headlights, so as you can see, no headlights in there at the moment. So we've been going through and redoing all the wiring. The wiring wasn't brilliant. I think it's just from over the years of it being kind of messed around at various stages. It's just been causing a few issues. I think we've located it down to a grounding issue, which we're hoping, fingers crossed, is what we can then work through to find out what we're kind of having the issues with the instrument cluster in there. Let me find a light. This one in here. So in there at the moment, we had some grounds for the headlights, which go in now just up there. You can see the little brown wire going in and mounting up there. So that has got us back to the point where we've got working headlights again, which is awesome. And then while we're in here, we're going to just be tidying up some of the sort of blue areas that show through, as well as treating some areas of rust. We've taken the ECU and the ECU mounts and everything off just to have a look underneath. We have a pretty savage, as you can see, sort of engine mount, which we are definitely going to now look to replace. And then we've got a few areas of kind of surface rust coming through here, which is kind of typical area, I think, on these cars. So we are going to treat that and get that sorted as well while we're in here. So we'll get that done, as well as stripping back the actual mount itself. As you can see there, that's looking not great. So we'll get that all sorted out so that when it all goes back in, it's all looking lovely again. So yeah, so that's what's going on under there. You'll see that we've got now a ram air filter induction kit fitted to this. We've just used that at the moment. It was just cheap and easy to chuck on, so that was going to sort us out because it didn't actually have an air filter on there previously. So we've got this on there just sort of for the moment. I think it looks sort of reasonable, fairly smart, so we'll keep it as it is for the moment, and then change it up as we progress. Then other things we have noticed while the lights are out as well is we seem to have like a bumper bracket kind of thing on this side, just in that corner there. You can see it. Doesn't seem to have been any provision in this corner here, so because this bumper's always kind of not sat great with the sort of rear lights and where it meets sort of the underside of this sort of front bit of the bonnet. While we're in here, I think we're going to take a look at redoing this because, yeah, this isn't up to standard. It needs to be that sort of fitment is much better, and it's not, and it never was either. So it was always like this from what I can tell from old pictures and stuff. So we're going to address that and get it sorted. So yeah, so I think updates and stuff for this video, we're pretty much there. So as you saw, we've made real progress on those door cards. We've definitely come up against a couple of issues which we're going to have to address for the next video, but nothing that we can't sort of work through, and I'm always going to show the bad bits as well as the good anyway. So yeah, that's just something that gets shown. Then obviously, yeah, making progress on some of the electrical issues. So headlights have been sorted out. We're now going to be working through getting some bumper mounts and getting that all sorted so that we can get that sort of nice fitment on the front bumper of this. All the interior is now stripped out. That old interior has been sold on, so we'll use that money to reinvest into the project to get some sort of new parts and stuff. 106 is all still sort of driving properly and stuff outside, so I've been taking that to a couple of local shows which have been awesome. That's been really good fun to have that out and about. And then what we are going to be doing is starting the similar to what we're doing with these door cards. We're using these as kind of our test bed before we then do the 106 ones. But we will be doing a very similar thing for the 106 door cards and the audio install that's in the back of that. So we're taking those audio barn speakers or subwoofers that we had in that sort of visual ice enclosure. That's now sat in the back of the 106, and that looks absolutely sick. So that's going to kind of sit in there for the moment, and then we're going to get the door cards and speakers all wired up, because currently that actually has no audio whatsoever. That's got no speakers, no wires run for it, because as you would have seen from previous videos, that was completely stripped when we picked it up, which included all of the wiring and stuff for all of the speakers and stuff. So that's definitely something that we've got to address and get sorted, because yeah, we need those tunes banging when we're driving that around the city centre. Right, so that's it from me really for this video. So yeah, follow along obviously as we progress through this journey of discovery for doing audio on door cards. As I say, I've never really done anything like this before, so clearly making mistakes, as we can see there with some of the mismeasurement and stuff that we're going to have to tweak and adjust because of the potential seats that we're going to chuck in this. It might be that we choose new seats, but that's just something that we've got to kind of make a decision on, and then adapt and adjust as we go along. So anyway, yeah, cheers everyone for watching. As I say, stay tuned, stay subscribed, and comment and stuff if you see anything that I'm doing which you know better, basically. So yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care, see you later.